Piece of tape over his. Can we get that? There he is. There he is. Take it out. Okay.
That's it. I'm back.
So Bob just gave his upper lip a Brazilian. Hey, welcome back to the
that
Five.
feels like, man. Never mind.
We're going to have to put that tape back on you, okay? Shh. Coming up next here, we've got a story out of Indiana where 2 female students were suspended from the volleyball team and other extracurricular activities after posting racy photos of themselves on MySpace. The school says that violates their code of conduct policy, but a judge ruled that the punishment violated the students' First Amendment rights. So, Kimberly, let me go to you. You are the resident lawyer on the table, even though you've been talking to Bob about the waxing actually feels like that.
After the waxing, and then he kept saying, man, I want to see the picture. I'm like, we can't see the pictures. They're minors. I was explaining it to Uncle Bob.
Of course, yes, dirty Uncle Bob over there wanted to see the pictures.
Here's the problem. They're saying
that the ACLU filed this lawsuit on behalf of the girls, right?
Exactly. And once again, another lawsuit by the ACLU to say that this is appropriate, that they have an absolute right to be able to post these pictures, but then anybody who looks at them is going to be in trouble and will commit an illegal act and be a pedophile and register as a sex offender. So that's the problem. So it's let them do it, let them misbehave, and then everyone else get arrested.
Here's the thing.
For it.
Whenever civil liberties folks do this sort of case, they always use the phrase slippery slope.
I know.
Like, if you stop, if you don't allow these girls to do this, then what's next? Why can't people ever use the slippery slope in reverse? And they go, okay, so you allowed these girls to simulate sex acts in photos as minors on Facebook. What's next? Posting hardcore porn on MySpace?
Yeah,
on MySpace?
And by the way, we should ban slippery slope and put it on like I cringe.
I hate that phrase.
iCringe.com.
Hate it.
So let me ask you guys about community standards, because this school has a set of rules, right? They're trying to discipline the kids and keep them in line. So the community standards say you can't do this. Then the ACLU comes riding in on their horses, the cavalry, and says, no, we want to represent these girls and blow the community standards right out of the water. Eric.
It's just unbelievable. The ACLU is trying to defend it. And Greg, you weren't kidding. They were actually performing sex acts with a lollipop or pretending
and
to
trident.
with a lollipop. I mean, where are we where you
That's
can't punish 2 kids in 15 and 16 years? Hey, how are we supposed to teach our kids? There must be a punishment for bad activity.
And why do the parents think that's okay and so amazing? Really?
But wait a second. It was this was not schools can't set standards for the entire community on other things you do. But beyond that, I think this judge was the judge who made this decision. And frankly, you could have a racy photo. The judge could put his head right up in a racy place.
But, Bob, here's the thing. Imagine if it were a workplace and you were doing things that, shed your workplace in a dark light. You were doing things. Doesn't the workplace have a right to call you in and go, Bob, we saw you at,
Well, they do it here every day on the show.
I know. You were at Scores.
Oh, I'm at Scores? No,
Yeah,
I wouldn't go there.
Covered in crumpled dollar
No,
bills.
I guess you can set certain standards. I mean, if you're on television, I suppose it could be morality clauses. I hope there's not a lot of them. But you could, I assume you could, but I'm not sure a school ought to be allowed to dictate a community's moral rules.
But these are underage kids. I mean, these are minors.
And, by the way, I go to this high school, doesn't it? Like, I think that's the point you're trying to make. Don't they shed a bad light on the high school, the whole high school community, right? They come to school.
If you go to a private school, they would be able to say you can't do this. I mean, these are like rainbow-shaped and phallic-shaped type of thing, And then these girls are thinking that this is appropriate. They're sophomores. The ACLU is saying that they have a right to do it because we don't want to interfere with their First Amendment rights. But what about decency and about the other people not to be
coming back to this. The judge is the one who did this. It's a terrible decision. I mean, forget the school standards. The fact is it shouldn't be allowed to have minors posing like that. I mean, if it's against the law to look, then it ought to be against the law to post.
And you know what's the weirdest thing?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Bob.
Wow, that is a fantastic point.
You know what, though? All of this happened at a slumber party, which just totally validates what I think happens at slumber parties.
But you know what? That didn't happen at the slumber parties I was at. Let me tell you, it was like pigtails.
Yeah, but you went to Catholic school, man.
Sparkles on our nails, doing each other's hair.
I did the same thing.
Really? You were the creepy girl with the fake wig next to me.
Let me just tell you, I didn't.
Okay. No. You're still having the slumber party.
Well, no, not often.
But you know what, Kimberly?
Anniversaries.
You raised something in passing that I think is the critical point, which is the parents thought that these photos were a great idea. They wanted the ACLU to file a lawsuit on behalf of their kids. My mother would have put me into next week if I were
still be grounded.
Okay? Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. All right,
girls still should be grounded.
well,
All right,
for other
show.
things.
For being awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys, coming up, photos reveal Muammar Gaddafi may have a little bit of a crush on a top American politician. We're going to show you those next on 5.